reason I guess I'm here today is that about a year ago we set up a construction client group or forum in Ireland. We've got about 14 major owners from around Ireland. They're both private and public owners. And so we got together because we felt there was a need to try and work together to improve the overall productivity in the construction industry. When we got together, we put together our overall goals model, our goals, objectives, strategies and tactics. And then one thing that came out very strongly was there was an eagerness to embrace BEM as one of the key enablers to improving productivity in the construction industry. So then we went and we met with CETA to see if there was something we could work together on, and we met with Alan, and certainly there is an overlap. So that's why I'm here this morning, is to just give you an overview of what the client group are looking for from the industry, and hopefully there's people both within CETA and other owners or other organisations that can maybe seek the initiative from this morning and help the construction client group. So I guess by way of setting the scene, the chart here, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. I guess it's US data, but I presume I'm pretty sure it's applicable to construction globally. But it shows the productivity of the various industries around from the US. And unfortunately, you can see construction trending along the bottom there, which is pretty, which I suppose when we saw this initially, and I saw it first around 2012, the first reaction is, this can't be right. As a proud member of the construction community, we didn't like this, and we spent a couple of months or years trying to disprove it. And then we kind of moved on and said, look, maybe it's not incorrect. And so there were other research articles that supported it. The Economist back in 2000 suggested there was 30% waste, and I think Paul suggested that as well. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the construction industry. And now that we're 3 or 4 years later, we know there's a lot of inefficiencies because we have successfully managed to overcome something, and there's much more to go. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, I put this in here because I think it's applicable to this forum. Back in 2004, they suggested that the lack of interoperability in software is driving 15 billion or 16 billion waste in the US construction industry. So if you extrapolate that globally, it's quite a large sum. So there's a challenge there for Ben to step in, and I think that's the essence of Paul's presentation was as well. So I suppose from our perspective, I put in a new data in 2016, and I'm just showing an arbitrary line, but we wanted to change the construction industry and really take it from that stagnant line at the bottom and really follow the other industries and drive productivity improvements. And we see lean as being the main mechanism or tool for achieving this, and we see BEM as being an underlying tool to support the implementations of lean, because it does create your whole information process flow through a project. And I think one thing we know is that if information is available at the right time, you eliminate an awful lot of waste in the system. So the goal under the Construction Client Forum is, we feel as the owners we need to provide the leadership in the industry and ensure clients and our business partners or supply chain partners implement lean in all capital investments. And lean meaning including BEM as well. And the way we want to go about this is through a collaborative manner. We want to work together to derive better value from capital investments. And when I say value, it's not necessarily just money. Money's important, obviously, but it's also value means different things to different people. And to a lot of clients, value means getting predictability in our project delivery, getting things right first time to avoid rework, etc. So that's why we got together, was to address this problem. I suppose another bit of history on this is that when we look at Ireland, the LCI was set up by John Trench, sitting here today. He set up in Ireland back in 2014, March 2014, and that was really to kickstart lean in the Irish construction industry. Out of that, a year later, in March 2015, we set up the Construction Client Forum. As I said, it was to provide leadership to the industry, because what we've noticed in some of the bright spots in the last number of years. It's where clients have engaged and provided the leadership is where we've really had success. If the supply base is trying to push something and the client is not leading or engaging, you don't get the same results. And just about now, I think that our first kick-off meeting on this month, there's an academic forum, and their focus is going to be to ensure that Lean and BIM is embedded in all the formal college courses within Ireland that support the construction industry. And they're also going to reach out and make themselves available to do further research and whatever is needed to support the industry in terms of Lean and BIM implementation. Just who the Construction Client Forum are. This is a representation of the types of companies that are engaged at the moment. There are some additional companies who didn't want their logo, their name publicly shown in the public forum. So we have about 14 members. There are some other members potential members knocking on our door, and we're open to all clients to join. So basically, we're trying to get the movement going. This is a bit of an eye test, so I'll just draw your attention to the items I've highlighted in red. So our objectives, and so when we got together initially, obviously it's huge what we're trying to do, so we tried to focus in on what we could achieve in the first year or two. So the initial objectives were to share best practice between clients, both public and private, to increase value. So what we noticed is that some of the clients are really getting on the whole Lean and BIM journey, and they've had some bright spots. Other clients are lagging a bit. So because clients are not in competition as such, we're all in different industries. There's no reason why we can't share and raise the whole industry together. The second one there is to lead the implementation of Lean, which I talked about. The third one, which is a core foundation of any Lean practitioner, is to drive standardization. So we see that there's a lot we can do here, because as clients we're all asking the supply base for different things. So why not standardising what we ask, so that we drive efficiency for the supply base. We also wanted to try and implement a set of standard metrics within the industry, so that we're all measuring the same thing, and that enabled a lot more benchmarking to be done. And then on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, whichever side you're looking at from the last one, is to streamline the owner's requirements to enable value for money. So as owners, we do realise that we're part of the problem as well. Some of our owners' requirements are burdensome, they're silly in many cases. And so we need to look at our specs, what we're asking the supply base to provide. And in fact, a lot of times we need to listen to the supply base, because they're the experts and that they can offer us cheaper solutions. In terms of the strategies, the ones I've highlighted just for today's forum is really one thing we want to do is educate the clients in the value of better information management. That's our definition of BIM. I think it's everybody's definition of BIM at this point. It's much more than just a 3D model. And so we need to educate the clients on what we can leverage from BIM. And then down at the bottom, the tactic we have in the short term, for the next 3 to 6 months, is we want to engage with industry experts such as CETA and on the standardisation of BIM implementation in Ireland, in the Irish construction industry. So that's really why this is sort of picking up of that tactic, is why we're here this morning, telling you who we are and what we're trying to achieve. So in terms of the client's needs and the industry gaps, probably at a much more basic level, we need to educate clients on the value of BIM to improve overall project performance. So in the forum, a lot of the owners have small project teams that they don't have in-house experts on BIM and how to implement BIM. And so they're really struggling as to how do we get onto this train. That I speak to their friends, that we have discussions in the forum, and that they're envious of what some of the owners are achieving, what industry is achieving, but they're struggling to get on the bandwagon as such. When I say what we can leverage now, the bright spots is that BIM enables you to establish a very effective workflow. Once you implement BIM and have good information flow through the project, from your smart P&Ls through to your detailing, through prefabrication and on-site assembly, but we really want to transform construction to a production line. That's really what we as owners see the BIM enabling. You know, it enables smarter design. You know, when you move on to 3D, 4D, you know, you get a lot of efficiencies in terms of costing, procurement efficiencies as well, where you get the output of your BIM model straight into your SAP or whatever your procurement module is, and it's a lot less errors and a lot quicker data transfer. As I say, we want to streamline construction to off-site prefabrication, and there are some bright spots. You know, that there's one client who has achieved something like 75% of the M&E installations being prefabricated off-site. It's been brought to site and assembled in a very efficient manner. And you know, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed that was possible. And you know, with the advances in BIM and scanning, it's really transformational what's happened. And I think the other part that a lot of people don't get yet on BIM is that you know it's really adds huge value in the facilities maintenance and operations side of the business. Because when you think of an asset, I mean, it's installed over 6, 12 or 18 months, but it's in operation for maybe 6, 12, 18 years. So you can leverage the information you have in your BIM system to for a lot more efficient maintenance. So if we define then what it is, the next step is to educate clients on how to develop their employers' information requirements. So a lot of employers don't know what to ask for when they go in an RFP to the market. So somebody needs to step in and help the clients to develop these employer information requirements. And they are specific to each individual owner, because the reason individual owners would implement them, the reasons are different. Some owners do it because you know, the complication of their installations mean they can't do without them. Other owners may do it for other reasons, because their assets may be last a lot longer and they may want it for operational maintenance purposes. So that's a gap in the industry today, and there are 14 owners that sit in the forum today. I would say there's probably 4 or 5 are sat to get their heads around this, and the other 10 are kind of looking like rats in the headlights. So that's a big gap, and I think jointly we need to work and address that gap. And then the third and last bullet I've down here is training on how to implement BIM and how to validate that the EIR requirements being delivered. So how to implement BIM, you know, people are saying, what do I need to do? Do I need to install a server? People just don't know how to move forward and implement BIM on their projects, especially clients who may only have sporadic projects. Do they invest in the infrastructure themselves? Do they engage a third party? That's an information gap. And the other thing, and it kind of disappoints me, and it's probably a dangerous thing for the industry, is that some clients have paid for BIM to date, and then they're all excited, and then when you come back a year or two later and ask them, so did you get your value for BIM? And they say, I didn't see any difference. I got a few 3D drawings which are gathering dust in a CD someplace. But so we need to be very careful that what's being sold as BIM to the industry is value add, and it's something we can all stand behind and support. So that's in essence what my message is today. I suppose to summarise, it's you know, the clients are eager to lead the transition to digital construction. Though we are fully committed and we see the benefits of it. But client education and training is required to enable the transition. So I think if there's any entrepreneurs out there, there's a good invitation there to fill the gaps I've identified and help the clients move forward. So that's my message. So any questions? Did I run over, or am I on time?
Well, we're still I see this question there for Brenton, yeah.
How you doing? My name is Eamon O'Brien with Tyco International, and we've the benefit. There's a few things that really rung through to me. One, I've just moved into a new building with Tyco International in Cork, 1 Albert Quay. Had typical BAM Construction, JCB and Henry Lyons Architects. But I'm a program manager for Tyco's Internet of Things platform. And a few things that are true, and we've found this through hard yards. One, smart cities begins with smart buildings. So we have a unique advantage there in terms of the global headquarters being in Cork now for Tyco and Johnson Controls. The second thing though is related to your comment at the end there around, you know, a little bit of a lag around people investing in BIM and kind of having a not really the emotional reaction you would expect, right?
Yeah.
And through all the Smart Cities engagements we've had, you need anchor projects that give you marketing leverage to, without any shred of doubt, prove that, holy God, this is just incredible stuff. So that's a real warning when I hear that, you know, internally in Tyco, when I hear that kind of language, or that emotional response, I get all over it, because that's one thing that will kill, you know. I mean, there's a hype cycle with Internet of Things, and we're managing that through anchor delivery of projects that are world class, that give you marketing collateral. But if you continue to have that kind of not negativity, but not the right reaction, it's a warning for me. That's just the comment. I don't know. Would you agree?
No, I fully agree. I think what we're trying to do through this forum, and probably through the LCI as well, is to share the bright spots, and, you know, to demonstrate where there's real value add through the implementation of BAME and all the other lean principles that kind of come and go with it. So that's part of the idea of having the forums we have set up, is to get that learning out there and trying to spell any negativity that may be created. Okay.
Does anyone else like to ask Brendan a question there? No? We'll move along.